Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gamansing. In our top story, one member of the 32nd Legislature addressed her frustration with an out-of-service elevator that was repaired earlier today at the St. Croix Legislative Building in Frederiksted on St. Croix. The St. Croix Legislative Building consists of 2 floors and a flight of stairs, and an elevator are the means to traverse between both floors. Reportedly, individuals with disabilities were being discriminated against while the elevator was not operable, directly violating the Americans Disability Act. Stephanie Brown reports.
Disabled and elderly residents on St. Croix seeking assistance on various issues were unable to meet with elected officials in their offices because of poor accommodations at the legislative building. That's according to Senator Alicia Chucky Hansen. In early March of this year, the elevator in the legislative building stopped operating, leaving only a flight of stairs to access the second floor, where several senators' offices are located, including Senator Hansen's. As a result, Senator Hansen informed that she was forced to conduct meetings in informal locations.
And therefore, I was upsetting that I'm on a second floor and have to be meeting these people out either in the parking lot or in the park. And then, of course, when people see me, they will stop to greet or give their own complaints. And that person with disabilities case, they set aside because you want to provide them with the privacy they also deserve.
Earlier today, the elevator was repaired and was in operation. We asked Senator Hansen if she received any response from Senate President Myron Jackson regarding her elevator repair inquiries.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
We caught up with Senate President Myron Jackson, but he exclaimed that Senator Hansen never inquired on the elevator's repairs, nor did she inform him that she was being inconvenienced.
I went to back over my phone. I don't see any phone calls that came. My office has not received any inquiries from her. The executive office did not receive any inquiries from her.
Senator Hansen asserted that her actions led to the repair of the elevator, but Myron Jackson stated otherwise.
There were some discrepancies with the company in that they received the check and had not received the purchase of the work order with it. And that delayed their response to us over a period of several weeks. We finally got the men on the ground. They've been on the ground now for the last 2 days, and our elevator is up and running.
For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Be sure to count on 2 to keep you updated. In other news, here's an update. As of yesterday, the Wanaflui hospitals was not provided no new information regarding the hospital's drainage systems issues. According to information released yesterday, the hospital activated their code yellow status, which activated the hospital emergency response team. Late into this evening, the hospital administrators as well as collaborating government agencies are working to put a plan in action. Reportedly, some sewage pipes need repairs, and some staff were sent home early yesterday to help alleviate the demand on the sewage system. According to further release statements from the hospital, affected areas include the restrooms in the emergency department and other areas adjacent to the emergency department. Well, as we reported, each May our nation celebrates Older Americans Month. Since 1963, this national observance has been a central theme of activity for seniors in their respective communities. It's also an opportunity for the community to show sincere appreciation for the gifts, talents, and great wisdom that older adults have contributed. The Administration on Aging has announced that Age Out Loud is the theme of Older Americans Month in 2017. This theme shines a light on many important trends. More than ever before, older Americans are working longer, trying new things, and engaging in their community. Governor Mapp's proclamation reads in part, "This month we celebrate the contributions and sacrifices of our elders, and we offer our renewed gratitude and support." The USVI Department of Health's Division of Mental Health, Alcoholism, and Drug Dependency Services will be celebrating Mental Health Month during the month of May, and this year's theme, as we shared, is Risky Business. It highlights the importance of knowing when behaviors and habits can be unhealthy. This year's theme, Risky Business, is a call to educate ourselves and others about habits and behaviors such as compulsive sex, recreational drug use, obsessive internet use, excessive spending, or disordered exercise patterns that can increase the risk of developing a mental illness. As a result, the USVI Department of Health will be hosting a series of workshops and activities in the St. Croix and St. Thomas St. John districts for the community. To name a few topics, it includes Pornified, and that looks into how pornography is impacting the brain and transforming society. It provides introduction to substance abuse treatment for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals. There's art therapy and expression, Into the Light, recovering from substance abuse, and many others. Mental Health Month was started 68 years ago by Mental Health America to raise awareness about mental health conditions and the importance of good mental health for everyone. The Division of Personnel is excited to announce a new and improved initiative that improves the electronic handling of all Division of Personnel recruitment needs. NeoGov, which is the new applicant tracking system, will replace the current system, and that's beginning Monday, May 8th. NeoGov provides market-leading talent management solutions to automate and streamline the recruitment process for government and other public sector institutions. The Division of Personnel is proud to join more than 1,500 federal, state, and local government, universities, and kindergarten to 12 organizations nationwide who use this. NeoGov streamlines the hiring process and provides job seekers can still visit the www.dopusvi.org website to view and apply for positions within the government. And they say starting May 8, all Division of Personnel advertised positions will also be available on the nationwide NeoGov website, which is www.governmentjobs.com. If job seekers experience technical difficulties, you can contact the Division of Personnel Recruitment and Classification Unit. And this message comes from Director Milton Potter. Well, Russia and the 2016 election is back in the spotlight in Capitol Hill. Lawmakers grilled the FBI director just one day after the president and Hillary Clinton slammed him publicly. Here to unpack some of the most dramatic reaction from James Comey today is Diane Gallagher in Washington. Here's more.
A cloud of doubt hangs over the FBI objectivity.
In a hearing that was supposed to be about the broad topic of FBI oversight, senators wasted no time getting right down to Russia and the election.
Before voters went to the polls last November, they had been inundated with stories about the FBI's investigation of Senator Clinton's emails.
Grilling Director James Comey Wednesday.
I sent a letter to Congress. By the way, people forget this. I didn't make a public announcement. It makes me mildly nauseous to think that we might have had some impact on the election. But honestly, it wouldn't change the decision.
Now, Comey's testimony comes just one day after both President Donald Trump tweeted that the Democrats were using Comey as an excuse for losing the election, and Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton publicly criticized his role in the 2016 election.
I was on the way to winning until the combination of Jim Comey's letter on October 28th and Russian WikiLeaks raised doubts in the minds of people who were inclined to vote for me but got scared off.
Comey, citing the classified ongoing investigation, said little of potential ties between Russia and the Trump administration, but did speak candidly about what Russia's meddling in 2016 may mean for the future.
I think one of the lessons that particularly the Russians may have drawn from this is that this works. And so, as I said a month or so ago, I expect to see them back in 2018, especially in 2020.
In Washington, Diane Gallagher.
And keeping our eye on the economy, just when you thought your legroom in economy class couldn't get any tighter, American Airlines says it plans to add more seats on its oncoming Boeing 737 MAX jetliners. To do that, it will shrink the distance between seats, also known as pitch, by 2 inches, from 31 inches to 29 inches in the rest of its main economy cabin. With the change, American will become the first large U.S. carrier to offer legroom with a pitch that's nearly on par with ultra-low-cost carriers, Spirit Airlines and Frontier Airlines. Meanwhile, It's proof that the little things do add up. The nation's airlines collected $4.2 billion in baggage fees last year, up 10% from 2015. That's according to new data released Tuesday by the Department of Transportation. The increase alone is $1 million a day. But not everything was up. Fees collected for changing reservation actually fell 4% to $2.9 billion, and fares went down by 1%. Some airline executives point to baggage fees as a way to keep fares low. Consumer watchdogs say the fees cloud the real cost of flying. Puerto Rico's governor turned to the courts Wednesday to protect the U.S. territory from a crushing $73 billion debt in the largest effort ever made by the U.S. government to shield itself from creditors. Governor Ricardo Rossello made the announcement after negotiations with Puerto Rico's bondholders failed. Rossello said a federal court control board overseeing the island's finances agreed with his request to put certain debts before a federal bankruptcy court. The outcome of the case could have implications for financially troubled U.S. cities or states. Rossello said one of the lawsuits sought to claim all revenues generated by the island's Treasury Department for bondholders. Rossello said the debts of some of the agencies will be restructured in court, while others will be resolved through negotiations with bondholders. He said he did not yet have details on the breakdown of those debts. The island's electric power authority owes some $9 billion. The Aqueducts and Sewer Authority has roughly $5 billion in outstanding debt, and the Highways and Transportation Authority owes about $7 billion. Let's take a look at the economy right there. The Dow is up 8, NASDAQ and S&P 500 down. Coming up on News 2, some sad news to report in Rock Hill, North Carolina. An 18-year-old from the VI who was reported missing was found dead. That story's coming up. Welcome back. Felicia Blyden went before the Rules Committee in February and was unanimously approved to be the Commissioner of the Virgin Islands Department of Human Services. Blyden comes with 26 years of experience within the Department of Human Services. She joined the staff in 1991. Well, today, Felicia Blyden was sworn into office at the St. Thomas Government House, and Governor Mapp exclaimed that he was confident in her abilities. Here's more.
Governor Mapp appointed me as the acting commissioner of the Department of Human Services, and I believe this is a little over 100 days since I've been in this position. As I reflect on the journey of how I got here, many thoughts come to mind. Every encounter along the path, there were lessons learned in preparing me for this life of service. I take this quote from the late Muhammad Ali: "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." And believe me, I've had many landlords as I continue on this journey.
This is my third attempt or second attempt from the nomination process to install a commissioner of the Department of Human Services. And I must say, I think I got this one right. All the documents are out, and all the I's are dotted, and all the T's are crossed. But the most important element of the job is for the person who's charged with the responsibility to run a department and agency to feel what the clients they serve feel, to be able to nuance the reality of what are affecting people's lives.
Congratulations to her. Here's an update. Attorney General Claude Earl Walker announced Tuesday that the Virgin Islands Department of Justice has filed its response to Terminix's motions to dismiss DOJ's lawsuit against Terminix. Last December, DOJ brought an enforcement action against Terminix with the VI Superior Court on St. Croix following an investigation that revealed that for 7 years or more, The company engaged in violations of numerous laws of the territory related to its promotion and use of the highly toxic chemical methyl bromide. The parent company, Service Master, sought to avoid liability for the alleged violations by claiming that it does not have enough contacts with the Virgin Islands to answer for its alleged misconduct. DOJ in today's filing disagrees, arguing that company documents clearly demonstrate that Service Master controlled and managed the Terminix operations in the Virgin Islands and reaped substantial revenue from Terminix USVI. DOJ also argues that Service Master directed their national marketing website to the Virgin Islands and consumers here. DOJ also explained in today's filings that it has alleged valid claims against Terminix for violating the laws of the Virgin Islands. DOJ has also alleged that Terminix violated Virgin Islands consumer protection laws, which prohibit the type of deceptive marketing and other tactics used by Terminix in promoting and selling its fumigation services. Well, some sad news to report. In Rock Hill, North Carolina, an 18-year-old from the VI who was reported missing was found dead. The police and the coroner made the confirmation on Monday. Jamie McGrath, 18, a languages student who studied Chinese and others, was set to graduate from Northwestern High School. She had been missing since the morning of April 28. She grew up on St. Thomas, where her family relocated to the area. Classmates of her mother, who attended St. Peter and Paul School, and many others shared her missing flyer online. Her stepfather said Jamie recently attended the prom alone and had a great time. Jamie Lee Allison McGrath was to graduate from the Northwestern High School in weeks. She was last seen early Friday and left a note at home saying she was going out in the early hours of Friday morning. The family and her stepfather, Robert, Maita's employers, they offered a $10,000 reward to find Jamie. Maita hoped the reward would be the key. He hoped she could be found in time to get her medication, which she needed to prevent her from having seizures. According to reports, he said Jamie had written a note that she was going out at 1 a.m., an odd hour, and unlike her, according to reports on the Herald Online. An anonymous person who read the Sunday article in the Herald offered Monday morning to match the $10,000 reward. K-9 units from the York County Sheriff's Office and sled helicopters, they searched her Rock Hill neighborhood Friday into the evening. Family and neighbors gathered Saturday to distribute flyers for the missing teen. Here's more from the Sheriff's Office.
This morning, the York County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit, working off of some tips generated from the public, brought them out to this area, the wooded area near North Rock Hill Church in Rock Hill, which was one of the areas that the missing person was seen at one time. Working this area, they didn't have any dogs on the ground. They were just using their tracking abilities and walked through the woods. And unfortunately, at approximately 10:50 a.m. this morning, they found what appears to be the body of Jamie Lee Allison Margus in a wooded area about 20 yards off the road of Mount Gallant Road at that bridge right down the road down from here. It's not the outcome that anybody wanted from this. Sheriff Kevin Tolson would like to extend his deepest sympathies to the family.
Sightings, but nothing concrete, so we can't really say which direction that is. But we are holding out hope that we get a firm sighting here soon. And so we'll have to put these
and one of those tips was why we came back
flyers out.
To the McGrath family, and that was courtesy of the Herald Online. Turn our attention back here at home. The VIPD Community Basketball Fed is a one-day tournament coming up for young men between the ages of 15 to 18 from various communities throughout the island of St. Thomas on May 6th and 7th for 2 hours. 4 coaches will have an opportunity to draft young men to play on their prospective teams. These young men will then have the opportunity to play each other. And on May 13th, during the one-day VIPD Community Basketball Tournament, Officer Hosea Anghel and Mr. Corbett are assisting with the coordination of this initiative. VIPD St. Thomas St. John District Chief Jason Marsh will be the guest speaker and will present trophies to the winners at the end of the event. Now, you may remember during the Easter break, Chief Marsh put together a day of fun, food, games, socializing, and storytelling while getting to know the men and women in blue during an Easter Family Fun Day. Well, coming up also, the St. Thomas Integration Team, CIT on St. John, they have been working with the VIPD for several years to address issues that concern residents on the island of St. John. For several years, CIT and VIPD have sponsored the St. Thomas Summer Youth Fair, which allows one-stop shopping for parents of school-aged children looking for summer activities. They're inviting groups that offer summer programs for children to come together and explain their camp and summer activities. On May 17th at 5:30 p.m. It's the 7th annual Summer Youth Fair that will be held in cooperation with Julius Sprouse School and their PTA in the school's cafeteria. This year, they have several groups that have already committed to attend, to include the St. John School of Arts, the Nazareth Lutheran Church Bible School, Sprouse School Century 21 Community Learning Center, Gift Hill School Athletic Program, Sisterhood Agenda, Friends of the VI National Park, VAERS Summer Eco Camps, and the VI Sports Parks and Recreation Department. Parents and guardians of all school-aged children on St. John are invited to attend. Well, steel bands from public and parochial schools in St. Croix, they showcase their musical talents at the Department of Education Division of Virgin Islands Cultural Education's annual Steel Pan Exposition that was held on April 22nd at the Randall Jock James Racetrack. The Steel Pan Expo has been traditionally held at the St. Croix Educational Complex. St. Croix District Deputy Superintendent Faith Dane George Boone served as Mistress of Ceremony and warmed the students up with a drum roll while introducing each school. The St. Mary's Catholic School Steel Band, directed by Jesse Joseph, kicked open the High Energy Show, followed by the Lumaco Steel Orchestra, led by Noel Winter. Throughout the evening, the John H. Woodson, Alfredo Andrews, Alexander Henderson, Claude Omarco, and Elena Christian schools, they serenaded the audience with hit songs such as Virgin Islands Nice, Fet You, and Bacchanalus. The youngest musicians came from the Alexander Henderson Elementary School. They performed The Lion Sleeps Tonight from the Disney classic, The Lion King. Education Assistant Commissioner Charmaine Hobson also attended the event and praised the students and parents. The University of the Virgin Islands Steel Band, they close out the evening's concert with a soca medley. Well, the University of the West Indies, the Seismic Research Center, is monitoring some increased activity at underwater volcano Kikimjeni following scores of eruption, they say, over the past few days. But they say there's no tsunami threat so far. The Trinidad-based SRC says the first eruption at the region's only submarine volcano, which is located about 5 miles north of Grenada, occurred on Saturday around 5:45 p.m., with reports of it being felt in St. Patrick's, Grenada. In its update, Grenada's National Disaster Management Agency said at least 43 mostly low-magnitude volcanic earthquakes in the magnitude range of 1.5 to 2.3 had occurred. On Sunday, they recorded a high amplitude signal lasting about 25 seconds. The Kikimjeni alert has been raised to yellow, which means sea users and ships should stay away from the vicinity of the volcano and observe an exclusion zone. Despite the activity, SRC stressed there was no tsunami watch or warning in place. Recent measurements have indicated that the summit of Kikimjeni is currently too deep beneath the surface of the sea for an eruption to likely trigger a tsunami. Volcanic episodes of Kikimjeni has been happening since 1939. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
high pressure system off to the east of us, and that is controlling our weather here for the next couple of days. And that means things are going to be pretty pleasant. For the most part, dry, a few passing showers, of course, but lots of sunshine and, pretty mild temperatures. We can see on our radar and satellite that we don't really have much going on as far as precipitation. Even Puerto Rico is looking pretty dry and quiet today. So tonight, 76 degrees for our temperature, for our overnight temperature. Partly cloudy skies. We could see just a shower or two, a brief one, pass through the island in St. John. 84 degrees tomorrow. Same story for St. Thomas, 84 as well, and St. Croix, a bit warmer, 85 degrees again with a passing shower or two, just brief, certainly not a soaker. We don't have any advisories as far as small crafts. Waves 2 to 4 feet, winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots in the Atlantic. In the Caribbean, 3 to 5 feet, winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots as well. So things are pretty calm and mild. Now we do have a front moving in our direction, and we'll get here pretty much on Saturday. So we could see a few more showers in spots on Saturday, but temperatures remain warm. 85 degrees on Friday and on Saturday. Sunday, 85 degrees with a shower in spots as well. And on Monday, just a few showers, brief passing showers moving through the island, and temperatures remain warm. Back to you, Sandy.
Thanks for that. Let's take a look at our News2 weather picture. There we can see lots of sunshine coming from Josiah Frederick of Ricardo Richards Elementary School, and some smooth sea conditions. Overall nice. Josiah, thank you for your picture. Send us your News2 weather picture to the address on the screen, and be sure to tune in. You never know when your picture will be featured right here on News2. That is all for now. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Have a wonderful evening.